The Fed15 podcast is presented by Serving Those Who Serve, a financial planning practice serving federal government employees and retirees all over the country. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be taken as financial advice. All listeners should consult their personal advisors before taking any action. The opinions expressed by our hosts are their own and do not reflect the views, policies, or position of either Raymond James or Serving Those Who Serve. Securities are offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services are offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Serving Those Who Serve is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services, Inc.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Fed15 podcast presented by Serving Those Who Serve. Each week, we'll discuss the latest news and info that feds need to know in 15 minutes or less. So whether you are a seasoned federal employee or whether you are just starting out in your career new and fresh, Fed15 has got you covered. So grab your coffee, kick back, and we'll tell you what you need to know but might have missed in the federal space this week. Now, we are your hosts. I am Katelyn Murray, and I am joined by Mr. Dan Sipe, wearing his pink shirt. Look good in pink, Dan.
So happy to be in pink. And this is going to be a fun episode. So I'm just going to say I'm so happy the shutdown is over. And here's the thing. I've said this multiple times. Here's my hope and my prayer for 2025, that the longest shutdown in history is the last. Because it was never meant to be a lever of governance, just turning the spigot off. And I'm sorry, hurting the people that have pledged to serve the public trust in an effort to serve the public trust makes no sense to me. So I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we're back. I know there's still work to be done, but I'm happy for that part. Katelyn, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, Dan and I, longtime listeners will know we always kind of take a moderate approach here and kind of keep things middle of the road. Dan's a little bit more of the light cloud. I'll be a little bit more of the dark cloud. I do think, while it is good to see feds back to work in the holiday season, we are far from out of the woods. And so please take this time, back pay, a statement's been released that is supposedly on the way. Take this time and prepare yourself. If you have not been getting prepared, please do. You may want to increase your cash reserve. You may want to add some extra padding because rumors continue to proliferate around potential continued cutbacks, potential increased privatization of the federal government. I think that Q1, Q2 of 2026 may look a lot like Q1 and Q2 of 2025. So, hang in there, continue to prepare. The best place to find your information is STWServe.com. There you can get the knowledge, the education, and the resources to make informed decisions to keep you prepared, whatever comes in the future. And that includes, looking at healthcare premiums, and making sure you're prepared on that front as well. So with that said, I'm very excited about today's episode because we have another kind of special episode for you. I know we've been coming at you with a lot of kind of special episodes clustered here around the holidays, but this one is one of my favorites. This is going to be a little bit of a Thanksgiving special.
And your idea, give yourself full credit. This is your baby and it's awesome.
Thank you. Yes. We have some very special guests joining us today. These are the folks that keep the wheels turning here at Serving Those Who Serve. We are introducing our teammates. We have several of them joining us today. So we have Maria Trump, who is joining us today from our operations team. We have Gentry Pan, who is joining us also from our operations team. We have Mr. Bobby Roach, who is a relationship management specialist with us. And we have Mr. Kent Schaller, who is VP here at the firm. And these folks are really, you don't get to see them a whole lot on the podcast. You have to look at Dan and I, but these guys are really the heart and soul of STWS. And we are so, so happy to have them joining us today.
And Katelyn, don't forget, Kent makes the trains run on time.
Oh,
yeah. VP is great. But if it's humming and it's running right, Kent.
Yes. A little different from the
Dan.
VPs in the like banking system where, everybody's a VP. No, this guy keeps the trains running indeed. So awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We thought that for this episode, it might be fun to, let our audience get to know a little bit more about our team kind of on a personal level. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Thanksgiving traditions, being that this episode is going up just a couple days before Thanksgiving. So I would like to know, just to kind of kick off our discussion here, what's something that you all are grateful for this year? This can be personal or it can be professional.
I'm super grateful for community this year. I think that more than ever, we as humankind are realizing how important community is, and not just community that you can be perfect around, but community that gives you permission to be authentic and imperfect.
Very
That
cool.
was an incredible answer, and there's no way I'm going to be able to follow that. But I will try, and I'm going to focus on the team here.
I have faith in you, Bobby.
Thank you, Dan. The team had a really rewarding experience this year recently, volunteering at Habitat for Humanity, Metro Maryland, where we got to do a variety of activities, including staining fences, building a children's playhouse, and a bit of demolition work in preparation for a house's rehab. Where I personally didn't participate in the demolition part. I definitely was on the playhouse building team. I think this was a really rewarding experience for everybody. It was great to get to know the team better. I'm still relatively new, having joined in July of this year. So that's another thing I'm very thankful for, having joined the team this year. But it was great to get out there and work with everybody and be doing something, giving back, contributing to the community. And that's something that I'm really thankful for participating in.
Same as Bobby, I'm fairly new as well to the team, but I'm very thankful that I feel that I found a family that is part of my everyday now. I look forward every day to come and work with you guys and help support our clients. And I'm actually also thankful that the clients that we have, I love just working with them, helping them, and just having a team that supports you to continue doing that is very, very valuable to me. So I'm very thankful to be part of the team.
Very cool. Yeah, that's true. Maria and Bobby are kind of our two newest hires here at the firm, and certainly on behalf of everyone, I think I can say we're very thankful to have found you guys this year. I think you have both been wonderful, wonderful additions to the team here, and just really grateful to have you in our squad.
So Kent, let's hear from the Veep.
Yeah, it's a really good question, but to start off, I mean, definitely, personally, definitely grateful for my family, wife and kids, and I'm grateful my dog is still with us. He is 18 years old. I mean, it's kind of shocking, but yeah, he's just hanging in there. I don't know, but
He's older than me in dog years, and that's not easy.
He's like 300 years old. I don't know, but then professionally though, I would say, I really appreciated obviously what Bobby and Gentry and Maria just shared, but professionally, I'm really just incredibly proud of the team. And mainly because we now have collectively, we have a group of true problem solvers, people who don't complain, we don't pass the buck. Everybody here finds solutions and supports each other, like in a healthy way. We win together, we're growing together, and we show up for each other, and we obviously show up for our clients in the right way. And so that's something that I'm genuinely grateful for this year in 2025.
And that is a solid marketing soundbite I will be using later.
Let me tell you, 2025 has required it of us. I mean, people have come out of the woodworks who are financial advisors specializing in federal benefits lately. And as a firm who has been around for 40 years, dedicatedly serving federal government employees and retirees, we don't recognize some of these names. So that's curious if they've been around. And we do our research here at Serving Those Who Serve on the competition. Make no bones about it. But I mean, this year as a firm that is dedicated to the civil servant, I feel like, everybody from ops to financial advisors have gone above and beyond to support feds really in their time of need. Because 2025 has been a rough year for feds. And I think, I would love to be proven wrong. Please, please, please prove me wrong. But I think 2026 might also be a tough one. And we will be here through every step of that. And our team has really proven that this year. So folks have gone above and beyond, put in the extra time, put in the extra effort, and really just held space for our clients as they've made some difficult transitions. So
That's a hard thing.
I'm grateful
That's
to
a hard
be,
thing, and we've seen their hearts.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be part of a team that can do that kind of work, because it is rare in our industry.
So how about you, Katelyn? For what are you grateful this year, personally?
Well, I just said I'm grateful for this incredible team. I'm grateful for, on the personal side, or I guess it's maybe a blend of personal and professional. I'm grateful to be part of a team that embraces technology and that really leverages technology to expand what's possible for us. And what I mean by that, as a woman working in financial services, we are part of the minority. I never feel part of the minority here at Serving Those Who Serve. And women wear lots of different hats in the family. We have lots of responsibilities for the older generation and the younger generation. And being part of an environment where I can serve my purpose at work, I can do great work for feds, but I can also have the flexibility that I need to wear all of those different hats is huge. I'm grateful for the remote environment. I'm grateful for an acceptance of technology that allows me to live a much fuller life than I otherwise would. And that I'm grateful for every day. So, and
That's
a lot
awesome.
of that stems from Dan. Dan is an early adopter of technology, and he loves all the newfangled gadgets and stuff.
Because I'm so young.
Dan knows about tech before I do. I get my tech info from Dan. So, I think, and that's rare. I think that is really rare in our industry and just kind of in general. I'm grateful for that.
Thank you.
Well said.
I'll kind of close it out because, I've said a million times, the secret to my success is that for inexplicably exceptional people have decided to join me. And in so many ways, I'm kind of a happy idiot. And, I'm committed and I do try and have good ideas, but the people who have chosen to join this mission, I find myself in awe of that every single day. On the personal front, and this actually is an interesting intersection. If you know my story, you know that it's family for me with feds. Started with my father-in-law. Well, that means I married somebody. To have a father-in-law, it's sort of the requirement. And that is, everybody officially knows her as Miss Mary. And Miss Mary had knee replacement this year. And so for about a 10-week period, I got to give back to a person that has done nothing but make me possible for 47 years. Okay. And we've been married for 41. We dated for 5. We were engaged for 1. So it's getting harder and harder to find a story that she's not in. And I would never want her to have to go through a painful experience. But as a result of that, I got to be there and to give back to somebody who's poured into me for so long. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And of course, everybody here too. So before I get verklempt, so next question to the group. What's a small thing that brought you joy lately? This is Katelyn's question, by the way. I can't take credit for it. These are all Katelyn's questions, actually. So everything good on this, Katelyn?
I'd like to jump in on that one.
Sure.
I've been recently rewatching Mama's Family, which is a TV series, if you haven't heard of it, from the late 1980s and very, very early 1990s. That's when it ended its run, like in 1990. So I grew up watching reruns. I was born in 89. So I wasn't, I didn't start watching until, like early to mid 90s. But it's just a very grounding and recentering experience to kind of relive those memories. I watched with different family members growing up, especially my German grandmother, and she would always laugh so hard at the antics and stuff from the show. And it's just very of its time and from another time when things, felt simpler, at least for me. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. So anyway, that's really, really fun. And really, honestly, anywhere I can plug that to help boost the signal of Mama's Family, I will gladly do it.
That's awesome.
Is that the one that was Vicki Lawrence?
Yes.
that kind of spun out of the Carol Burnett show?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I remember
In fact, now I want to get her on the podcast sometime.
There you go. That's a lofty goal.
Yeah.
Don't tease me.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Bobby.
Yeah, very small. Oh, go ahead, Kent.
No, please go ahead, Gentry.
I was going to say a very small thing that's brought me joy lately is I make my own coffee syrups for flavor. And I've recently mastered my banana bread recipe.
Ooh.
So I've been having banana bread flavored coffee for the last week and a half, and it has been delicious.
Wow.
Listen, I'm going to be honest. As somebody who drinks a lot of coffee, I might need that banana bread syrup recipe there. If you want to hit me with that.
I can attest to one thing. Gentry's a little bit of a culinary ninja because Gentry lives in another state. And so as part of our compliance, we have to visit her home office, which you're seeing right now. And so I get to do that. Not I have to do that. I get to do that. And first trip, she hosted us for dinner and somehow figured out the alchemy of, and if I say it wrong, Gentry, correct me, tres leches cake, vegan.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Okay. And it was off the chain alchemy. So this does not surprise me in the least. But it's like, oh, I figured out how to get banana bread flavor into the coffee.
Oh, what can I say? The kitchen's my happy place.
Very cool. Very cool.
How about you, Kent?
Yeah, a small one is, I obviously, and I enjoy coaching my son's baseball. That's always a lot of fun for me. But another one was my wife coached my daughter's soccer, and that was that was the most entertaining thing I have watched in so long. But my 4-year-old daughter was so aggressive and so passionate. I mean, it was just, I had never seen her like that. And for those of you who know my daughter, Savannah, like, she is a shrimp. I mean, she's like smaller than like, I think Maria's 1.5-year-old son. So, but to see her out there, scoring goals and like competing against, the boys, that are, 5, and it was, I don't know, it's pretty impressive and very, very funny.
Small but mighty.
Yes.
Man. I'll get you.
Well, it's funny. Maybe this is what has led to serving this being the place that it is. But 1,000 years ago, I was actually involved in soccer, knowing nothing about soccer. I just took over when my nephew's coach quit. He came home crying. And I said, do you need somebody who knows about soccer? Do you need somebody over 18 with no criminal record? Because I can fill one of those and not the other. Well, then I ended up gravitating towards officiating because I was usually angry at officials. So I said, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. So I started officiating. Officiating girls soccer and boys soccer, 2 different worlds. Okay. Young female athletes, fearless, the most fearless thing I have ever seen in practice. Okay. 4-foot girl, 6-foot girl, doesn't matter. 4-foot girl's not backing off, and so keeping them safe in youth soccer was a bit of a challenge. So
very cool. I'll tell you, that doesn't really go away when we grow up either.
Mm-hmm. I know that.
I know that
better than anybody.
It's still in there. Maria, did you want to weigh in before we move to our next question?
For me, it's joyful, but also bittersweet. My daughter's turning 5 in December, and it just feels like yesterday I just had her. So I've been crying. Aww. As you can see, my eyes are a little swollen. But I'm planning her trip to Disney World.
Awesome.
And so it's very emotional time for me, but it's also very joyful to have a 5-year-old.
Yeah, very cool. That's exciting. When are you going to Disney?
So her birthday's the 19th, so I'm leaving the day before.
Nice.
Just 4 days, because I've been to Disney World, and you have to get mentally and physically prepared. But yeah, it's just 4 days, and I hope she loves it. Which I know she will.
Oh, I'm sure she will. Yeah, Disney's always magic. That's one of those timeless things. Very cool. Well, kind of going back to what we were talking about before with the banana bread. Now you've got my wheels turning and I'm thinking about food. With that in mind, what are our so I'll give you an option on this one. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish or your least favorite Thanksgiving dish? Give me one or the other.
I can say mine without a story.
Everybody's ready immediately. Dan,
Least
go ahead.
favorite, that cranberry thing that comes out of the can.
Come on, man. That's good.
Can't do it.
Cranberry sludge is great.
Oh, can't do it. Not food. Doesn't count. So I'll just move on. No story with it. Don't want to see it on my table.
Yeah. I will tell you that I eat cranberry sludge when it's not Thanksgiving. I'll confess that. Sometimes. Ain't nothing better on a dry piece of turkey.
I agree. I agree.
Okay.
It's not bad. Not bad on a dry piece of turkey.
I could be in the minority here. That's fine.
Well, I'm with Dan. I don't touch the stuff, but that's because I am a classical kind of guy. So simplicity or elegance and simplicity, I'm looking at macaroni and cheese for me, for sure. That and mashed potatoes, some rolls, and really maybe no meats. So
you haven't had my fried turkey, my friend.
Well, we'll have to check that out sometime.
Take a perfectly healthy bird, make it unhealthy, and
well, that sounds like a good time to me. So
I'm still holding the candle from when Bojangles. There was a brief, fleeting, beautiful period of time that was maybe a year or two, maybe 3 years. Bojangles did fried Cajun turkeys, and I'm still not over it. It's been like 5 years or more.
I might have to get you up to the house, Katelyn, because I do a Creole fried turkey that's injected.
Well, there we go. That's what time do I need to be there? You just let me know.
Well, we only have 31 coming this year, so we have a couple of seats left.
There you go. All right.
Add me to the list, Dan, because I do not like turkey. I have never found anyone that makes a turkey that I can like. I just can't.
Wow.
I can't do turkey.
Got it. Any other favorite dishes?
Yeah, no one said it yet, but I love dressing. We've been using the same recipe now for 3 generations. And one time someone said that they were bringing the dressing and then announced the day before Thanksgiving that they were bringing a gluten-free version of that dressing. And I took myself immediately to the store. And it's urgent if you're going to the grocery store the night before Thanksgiving, because nobody ruins my dressing on Thanksgiving. That is my turkey per se. Like that's the one thing that I look forward to the most.
That's shocker awesome. That you're an exceptional problem solver too.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. I have like
Don't pick a fight. Just make it.
I have a 4-hour crock pot mac and cheese recipe.
That sounds very good.
That's my like star of the show. But also, and both of these recipes actually came from my grandmother. Everything I make on Thanksgiving and Christmas comes from my grandmother. But the other big one is the sweet potato casserole. And we're not a marshmallow family. We don't do the marshmallows, but the crust is like a pecan brown sugar situation type deal. And my brother, the football player who I've talked about a lot on the podcast, I make him his own separate tray of the sweet potato casserole. So like the table gets one and he gets one. And now that he's in college at Mercer University, having an incredible second season in football, by the way, we haven't talked about it a lot, but they're like on the same path that they were on last year. He's killing it. But now that he's in college, he takes that tray like back with him to university and eats on it for there? Like a week.
Wow.
I think it makes it most of the 7-hour drive to Georgia. So yeah. Might throw in a couple extras for the teammates this year.
Yeah, pecans on the sweet potato casserole is a must.
Oh yeah. It's got to be crunchy and it's got to have that like brown sugar, like crust deal. Can't be stingy with the pecans. They can't be like spaced out. We shouldn't see any orange. It should just be that like crisp crust level.
Indeed. So who we got left? Kent?
Yeah, I like baked ham on Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
With the with like the caramelized like brown sugar on it. That's what I really like. So
I agree.
anyway, we usually have that at somebody's house on one of my sides or one of our sides of the family.
You know, there would have been pork at Thanksgiving if a boar walked in front of them. Okay. It's not like they're going to go, oh, it's not a turkey. I'm not going to shoot it.
Of course. Yeah. Right.
So, okay. Another great question from Katelyn that kind of ties it all together. So Katelyn, I'll go ahead and ask it if I may. Has one thing you've really learned or appreciated from working with our clients this year? If I can, I'll kick that off. And that is, this has been, in my 40 years, the hardest year on Feds, as far as decisions made, policies, things like that. The one thing that really struck me is the people who are leaving are expressing a concern and a wish or a prayer of hope for their missions that they are leaving, that the mission won't suffer. And I got to tell you, I don't think there's a whole lot of situations in the private sector where I've seen people being let go that are wishing the mission well on their exit. That's mine. So, Katelyn, how about you?
I think for me, this year has been about and this wasn't a revelation, right? Because there's a reason that I work with the clients that I do. There are a lot of different paths that one can take in our industry. You can go the private equity route, which I have done a stint there. And a lot of people chase the ultra high net worth folks, right? A lot of financial advisors, assume that if you work for the ultra, ultra, ultra wealthy, that you'll become one of them, that it'll rub off, right? For me, I come from a solidly middle class background. I come from a small farming community in Southern Virginia and Southside Virginia. And I was solidly middle class. And my whole family has been solidly middle class. And I knew that the folks that I wanted to serve as an advisor with my expertise were folks like my mom and dad who have worked hard, who have had to save for what they have, who understand the value of a dollar, and who have serious consequences waiting for them if they screw this up, right? If you are 30 years old and you have $15 million of private equity stock that you got from your job, it's pretty hard to screw that up to the point where you can screw it up, but it's hard to screw it up to the point where you have nothing, where you can't pay for your health care, where you can't pay for your needs. But as a middle class person who has built yourself up, that's a reality. So the planning moves matter and the advice matters. So I always knew that I did not want to serve the ultra high net worth folks, right? I wanted to work with people for whom the work really mattered. And I've been blessed to find Serving Those Who Serve and a purpose-led practice that allows me to do exactly that. But what this year has kind of brought to the mix is a really, really close look at how resilient and adaptable the civil servant is. I could tell you hundreds of stories from clients that have faced really, really, really challenging times this year. And they have met that challenge and they have overcome it. There are folks who have worked for 30 years serving their country who were not ready to retire and hang it up, but who were forced to. And they have met that transition with such grace and such style, and they've kept their heads high. And I think, one of the things, Dana and I have talked about this before on the podcast, we've seen rifts before, we've seen government downsizing before. We haven't necessarily seen it accompanied by, a narrative that seeks to villainize the civil servant. And feds don't deserve that. But they have been met with it this year, and they have held their heads high. And I'm proud of them for that. And I'm proud to serve them. And I look forward to continuing to serve them in 2026. But I think that the lesson for me is just how adaptable and just how resilient these people are. And I think if folks look closely at what's going on this year, you'll see that. So good reminder that the folks who serve our country are really, really tough cookies, tough people.
Indeed.
Yeah. And Katelyn, to go off of your first point, my favorite thing about working with our clients at year end is that we have so many people that have worked really, really hard for what they have, and yet they still choose to be generous with what they have. For all of you that are later into retirement, you know about your RMDs and the opportunity for qualified charitable distributions. And we have so many clients that like to participate in QCDs. And so I love getting to look at everybody's list and see who people are donating to, what they care about, what they're passionate about. So I feel like it tells you a lot about the client when you get to see where they're being charitable at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Qualified charitable distributions from retirement accounts and also donor advised funds. We've mentioned this on the podcast before, but Tom Lee, one of our partners here at the firm, has a stated goal as a professional to help folks give away $1 billion over the course of his career. And I think that's a lofty goal. And I think it is, a really impactful goal. And knowing Tom, he will absolutely achieve it. There will be nothing that stops him. But I think, we've opened up a ton of donor advised funds. And that's something that we've talked about a lot, particularly around Thanksgiving, to help our clients give charitably. You're absolutely right, Gentry. Feds have big hearts and they understand, I think, because of their career in, public service, I think, they understand the value of those donations, and they really are the lifeblood for a lot of really important organizations doing great work in our country and beyond our country.
Absolutely.
We'll be full of turkey anyway, eating our way through those Creole fried turkey leftovers.
Oh, I wish this one could just go on and on and on and on, but that actually is all the time we have for today, folks. But I promise you, we will be back next week. It might not be as much fun as this one was, but it'll be worth it, I promise. With latest updates you need to make informed decisions about your career and financial well-being as Fed. And I am so happy you got to see just a small cross-section of the amazing people that make it real versus just an idea that an old coot had at one point in time in his life. So absolutely.
Yep. You quite literally would not be listening to this podcast without Kent's and Bobby's assistance with producing the podcast on Bobby's part. And getting our compliance team to allow us to post it on Kent's part. And if you're a client of mine, you wouldn't have the client experience that you have with regard to things running efficiently and effectively and quickly without Gentry and Maria's support on the operations team. These are the people who allow Serving Those Who Serve to exist. It is so much more than just Dan and I, and there's a much wider team, even beyond the folks that we were able to join us today. So really, really, really want to make sure that you understand the depth and breadth of Serving Those Who Serve. It's a vast team here, and everyone is exceptional. Now, to make sure that you can see me and Dan kick it on the next episode of this podcast, make sure that you are subscribed to us. Over 78% of folks who are watching our videos are actually not subscribed. So please, please, please make sure that you subscribe on your preferred listening platform. We're on Spotify. We're also on YouTube. And you can always find us on our website at STWServe.com. And please remember to share the podcast with your friends and colleagues so that they can get the information that they need as a Fed or Fed retiree.
And don't be a stranger. For more information on the topics we've covered today and more, hit the website, STWServe.com. You'll see click blog, and the blogosphere opens for you. Tons in there. So check that out. And you'll be given the opportunity, please take it, subscribe to our newsletter, The Weekly Serving. That way, we're going to ship our best stuff to you each week, curated for your benefit. It's going to show up. You don't have to go looking for it.
Yes. And this week, I did want to mention, we do have two really great articles. We did want to do the Thanksgiving special to highlight our team. But we do have two great two great articles that are up on the website for you. We've got a piece on updates from the OBBBA and what feds who are retiring before 62 may need to watch for. That would be a good one to look at. And then also a piece on weathering market swings, smart TSP moves that you may want to consider and evaluate during volatility. So be sure to check those out. If you want to dive even deeper into learning about your federal benefits and financial planning for feds, we encourage you to visit one of our complimentary webinars. We've got some great ones coming up next month. We've got FERS on December 4th. That will be from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we have a tax planning session December 10th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Both of those sessions are going to be hosted by Jen Meyer, one of our lovely financial advisors here. The first session is really good if you've never attended a webinar with us and you want an entry point. The tax planning session, it's good regardless, but if you've attended a couple webinars here and there and you want something that kind of ties a lot of the separate pieces together, tax planning is great for that. And yes, we are having a tax webinar, not in April. You need to plan for your taxes before April. So attend the tax planning session and let's see if we can help you optimize things there on that front. Of course, I understand times are tough. You know, it's hard to find 3 hours in the day to string together for a webinar. I get it. If you prefer a one-on-one approach, reach out to our team directly for a financial planning consultation at meetings@STWServe, and you can work with these incredible folks every day working on your financial future.
Absolutely. So thank you. This one's longer than usual. This is definitely over 15. Totally worth.
Fed15.
Thanks for listening to the Fed15. I'm Dan Sipe.
And I'm Katelyn Murray.
And we, just us, will see you next week. Signing off for Bobby and Maria and Gentry and Kent. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Either.
You think you'll see us next week. You might see Kent in a wig. I'm going to have him stand in for me. I think he'll do a great job.
I think so too.
I'll do it.
See you guys. Happy Thanksgiving to all our listeners.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.